You are listening to KC Sports Network, the #1 podcast network for today's Kansas City sports fans. With former players from your favorite teams, informed perspectives, and former insiders, this is the place for you. KC Sports Network is proudly presented by Emprise Bank, your partner in possible.
Chiefs Kingdom, we got the win, baby. Welcome back to One on One, a KC Sports Network podcast. I'm your co-host, Mike DeVito, here with Chiefs legend, 9-year NFL veteran, Super Bowl champion, Jeff Allen, and we are bringing you all things Chiefs football from a player's perspective. Yeah, baby, there it is. We're on the road back. So much to talk about today. We'll break down the game. We'll talk about the upcoming Colts. We'll talk about stuff going on in the league. Before we do that, we've been talking about this for a while now. I got my Cookie Society box. Now, there we go. We are ready. Now,
you got the shipping box there. This is the in-store box.
Okay. So this is the shipping box right here. This thing comes in a beautiful package. I will say this. I threw out a couple. So I have an offensive lineman son. I have an 8-year-old. He's already 110 pounds. And I come in here the other day and I find a bunch of these. So I'm a little low on supplies, but he did save me. This is the peach cobbler one,
That's
Jeff?
The peach cobbler cookie.
All right,
That's
we're
one
going to
of my
open
favorites
this
of all
up,
time.
baby. Let's open this up.
And I got a box here that we were supposed to record this yesterday, but some things happened with our schedule, so we rescheduled to this morning. And unfortunately, I got midnight snacks and I ate the cookie. So I got broken cookies in here.
Oh man!
I took little bites of everything.
Oh, that's funny. These have been sitting here because I had they just came like one day late. We were supposed to do this last week, so they've been sitting here in my office, and I have just been struggling. I'm like, don't touch them, don't touch them.
I've had them for a while, man.
Oh, and then I see my son whooping them down. But here's the peach cobbler. A little bit. I accidentally broke it a little bit, but man, look at that thing in the middle.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh,
that's right. Oh, actually, that's not peach cobbler. That's raspberry cheesecake.
Oh my goodness, are you serious?
Yeah, it's delicious.
Oh, I can't wait to try it. Should we do? Is this like we should eat on TV? Yeah,
let's eat, man.
Yeah.
I give everything a 10 out of 10. I have a bias.
Oh my goodness, bro!
But it's amazing, man. I got a frosted oatmeal right here.
I don't know.
Unbelievable.
I think I've said this before. I don't know how your wife does it, but I feel like what's so unique about these cookies is you have a cookie and it has a flavor, and generally it tastes something like the flavor. But this is like when you say peach cobbler, you take a bite and you genuinely feel like you're eating a peach cobbler.
Yeah.
Like the flavor is like a 1-to-1 correspondence with the actual thing it's claiming to taste. I mean, they're just so good. Like this tastes exactly like you said it would.
Listen, the bar is high here. We set the standard. And my wife is highly critical. There's some things that I think taste good enough to put on the menu, but she'll wait until it's perfect before she does it. Like peach cobbler, for instance, that's something that's been in the works for 2 years. And she's had like 50 different renditions of it, but she finally came to this one, and this was it. And it's amazing.
Is it this one, Jeff?
Then that is it. This
is it. All right, let me open it up.
I can see it. And right here, I got banana pudding.
Ooh.
This is the OG. This is what made us start the company.
Yeah,
we made a banana pudding cookie, and I was like, okay, no one's doing this. This is out of this world.
I had that one last year, and when you get to that thing in the middle, boy, oh my goodness, look at this cookie.
Look at that. Oh my God. Look at that pie. Look at that pie crust in the bottom.
Look at that. I mean, oh, I'm going the wrong way. Look, jeez, I'm crawling, man. I'm not going to be able to eat all day because I'm just getting my whole intake right now.
Listen, cookies for breakfast, man.
Cookies for breakfast. That's what we're doing it, baby. Oh my goodness. All right. Wow, I can't believe I'm doing.
All right, no more cookies, Mike. Let's get into this football.
All right, let's go. I'm sorry. Cookiesite.com. Check them out. This is incredible. I don't know how the fight for this episode now is going to be to try not to eat this and talk about football at the same time.
Yeah.
But let's get into it, Big Jeff. How you doing, brother? You feel good?
I feel great, man. The sun is shining. It's starting to cool off a little bit in Texas.
Oh,
It's not quite fall here yet, but it's in the 80s, so that's fall for us.
I got up this morning, it was 30 something up here, baby. Yeah. And we're up here, we're still like, damn, it's too hot. Why is it so hot? So I wanted to jump in with this, Jeff, because this is something I didn't know if you noticed this after the game, but the NFL is hard, man. The NFL is hard. And we talk about, and rightfully so, how great the Chiefs are. And every year, I mean, we're back to back AFC champions. We're all, Super Bowl every other year. I mean, you got Pat Mahomes, you got Kelsey, got Hall of Famers across the board. So, rightfully so, do we talk this team up and talk about, it's impressive to watch the way they're coached, the philosophy, the culture, the organization, everything that comes with the Chiefs. I mean, it's really top notch. It's one of these rare times in history where you see a team that's put together and from top to bottom, an incredible product. But again, the NFL is difficult, and you're not going to, every game isn't going to be a blowout. And these other teams are good too, and they're going to put up a fight. And they know Kansas City isn't flying under anybody's radar. They know that, Kansas City's the team to beat. And so they're getting everybody's best shot. And so I bring all this up because you look at the social media, you look at sort of the commentators, and it's, oh no, is Kansas City doomed because they didn't win by 1,000 against the Chargers? The Chargers are a really good football team, and you're just gonna every game isn't going to be a blowout. So I want to get that, but real quick before I turn it over to you, Jeff, it reminded me. I wanted to talk about this. So it reminded me of the 2000 NFL season. So that was my first year in the league. I'm playing with the Jets. This was I'm not a historian of football. I wish I knew better, but I think the only two teams in NFL history to go 16-0 were the Dolphins. What was it, in 72?
Yeah, 72, I think.
And then the 2007 New England Patriots.
Yeah.
So playing with the Jets that year, my first year, I had an opportunity to play against that team twice. And I remember the second time we played them. Now, the Jets that year were 4-12. We were terrible. The second time we played them, we had them. The game finished 20-10, but we kept that game close, and we were to the end. We thought we could win this game. And if you look at New England from that year, the Giants, they won, but it was 38-35. They won close with the Ravens, 27-24. They won close with the Eagles. They won close with the Colts. Very close. We're talking 3 or 4 points in each one of these games. This is a team that went 16-0. Not every game is going to be a perfect blowout. It's a hard season. All these other teams are really good. I mean, when we look at, I think you and I talked about this, Jeff. Do you think there's a more difficult team that Kansas City will play other than above the Chargers? Like, do you think there's anybody more difficult?
I don't think.
The Bills.
Well, yeah, they got the Bills, but it's tough playing a divisional opponent, especially a really good team like the Chargers that's in your division, that knows you, has the same coaching staff. You have the same coaching staff. There isn't much, I guess, you can scheme around. It's about, obviously about preparing, but it's about, guys making plays.
Right.
And we saw that on Thursday night. We saw in the most pivotal moments, guys making plays. Patrick, making big plays when he needed to.
Chris Jones.
You see Chris Jones getting big time pressure and getting some sacks when he needed it. And then the rookie, Watson, getting that 99-yard interception. 99. Yeah, that's how you win these types of games, and that's really just a championship mindset. Right. No matter how the game's going, no matter how it looks, how ugly it is, how muddy it gets, you find a way to come out of it clean. So
that's the win.
And that's much more encouraging to me than us just blowing out. That Cardinals win was great, but I feel better beating a good team like the Chargers in the fashion that we did.
Right.
Because that bodes well for the future, and that's how you're going to have to win playoff games. That's how you get to the Super Bowl. It's not going to be an easy path. It's not going to be blowouts. It's going to be coming from behind.
Exactly.
That's what happened when we won the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 54 was a lot of come from behind.
Remember
victories.
that whole year? That whole playoff season?
The entire run, it was come from behind, figure a way to win.
Way behind.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't remember that. You're going to remember that ring, but sometimes you don't remember, those scores.
And that's the key. That's also the key. Do you remember the 2007 season? Who won the Super Bowl?
The Giants.
Giants, baby.
I remember that. I don't remember any of their scores from that year, but I know they won the Super Bowl.
I'll go 100-0. If you don't win the Super Bowl, it don't matter. So
it does not matter.
That's the focus. And you're totally right. And somebody had a great tweet. I'm on social media too much. Somebody had a great tweet. Herbert and Josh Allen get more credit for almost beating
Mahomes than
Mahomes does for actually win a game. I'm like,
that's the truth, man. But that's what happens when you're the king of the hill. And now, right. For all those years, I hated the Patriots, and I never knew why. But now that I'm on the other side and being a player for the Chiefs, now a fan, now I understand with success and continued success comes hate. And everyone wants to see you not succeed and not have the same success that you traditionally do. So. That's just what's going to happen. Right. Everyone's going to try to find a way for a team to be better than the Chiefs within the AFC or the NFL, and they're going to try to find our great players. They're going to try to say Travis Kelce is no longer the greatest tight end.
Always.
Patrick Mahomes is not the best quarterback. It's not Josh Allen. And every year, what makes these guys so great, especially like Travis and Patrick, is every single year there's always a conversation individually based on who's the best at their position, but it's always them versus a different player.
Right.
It was Lamar versus Patrick. Then now it's Josh versus Patrick.
Yeah.
Then it's going to be Herbert versus Patrick.
Right.
Kelce versus Kittle. Kelce versus Waller.
Yeah.
But our guys are always that guy in the conversation and the debate. So that tells you who the best is. So
that's a great point.
Take it for whatever it is. You got to have these conversations, especially on a national scale. This is how you create, entertainment. You got to have something to talk about, and they're gonna figure out a way to keep you engaged and watching.
Exactly. But Chiefs fans, we're good, baby. We're good.
We got
you. Good place. Now listen, silver lining to this. We talked about how the roster has a lot of young guys on it.
Yeah.
These games can be really helpful in driving home the point that just because you have Pat Mahomes and Kelce and all that stuff doesn't mean the little things don't matter. Doesn't mean that every week you're just going to go in and the team's going to roll over and you're going to win by 50. So this is also a nice sort of wake-up call. I mean, it's a win against a tough team. Again, I fall into the same trap. But it's a good reminder to the young guys that you can't let the foot off the gas.
Yeah.
Like there can't be sort of, throwaway practices and mental errors and everything still has to be perfect. Nothing's going to be handed to you. And so I was thinking about that. Like, oh, you know what? For the young guys, this is also a good learning thing for them to realize. Oh yeah, no, we got to work. We got to work.
Definitely, you learn way more from your failures than you do your success.
Exactly.
And although we won that game, there's a lot of things that we can fix, and that's the best way to figure out what you need to fix is in close games where you've missed some plays, where you had some mistakes. Things that you can control, and even in a loss, like those can sometimes be the best moments in the season.
Yeah, no doubt. And I remember the 2013 season, we went 9-0, and practice is slipping off. Finally, we get woken up with the loss. It's like, oh wait, wow, we can't. We're not. It's not going to happen. So it's good to do that in a close win than a loss. So. And it's good to do that early in the season where guys know, okay, yeah, let's get back on it.
And we're going to lose a game this year. I mean, statistics say that. I mean, obviously we want to win every one, right? But someone's going to get us, and we're going to learn from it, and it's going to make us better.
Right. Get that the goal for this year, healthy and getting that first round bye, right? I mean, that's the focus right now. Get that is premium. Get that first round bye, keep the guys healthy. But chances are you're going to lose a game. That's true. Again, two teams in the history of the NFL have done it in the regular season, and one of them didn't win the Super Bowl, so it doesn't matter. The other team won the Super Bowl, right?
The Dolphins won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's why they're still deemed the greatest, and they were really excited to see the Patriots losing.
I was excited too. I remember being excited. Oh man! All right, so. Quickly about the game, I know all our other shows on KCSN Network are recap the game, talked about it. They're going to give you in-depth analysis. It's amazing as a player to watch these guys talk about it because I'm like, damn, I didn't get any of that stuff. How these guys know the game better than I do? We have a solid lineup here. I did want to tell you, though, Jeff, what we talked about, or ask you, we did talk about this on the last episode. You got Khalil Mack and Bosa going into this game. How does an offensive line prepare for those guys? 1 sack.
Yeah.
The O-line gave up 1 sack, man. Give me your breakdown. How'd they get it done, man?
You didn't hear too much about those guys during that game.
No.
They just did a good job schematically. I think Coach EB, Coach Reed, Nagy, all those offensive guys had a really good game plan. Patrick wasn't holding the ball very long. He did a really good job of having good pocket presence and moving around when he needed to and stepping up and doing those all types of things. And we were physical. We ran the ball a little bit more than we normally do. That first drive, we ran the ball 3 straight plays to open the game, which is beautiful. I think it set the tone and it got those guys on the other side like, hey, they were ready to pass rush. But wait a minute, this isn't what happened. They're running the ball. And so just to see that and to see just the physicality of it, it probably discouraged them. It probably discouraged them seeing what the game plan was. And as a defensive lineman, you weren't a pass rusher, but when a quarterback,
what do you mean?
You weren't a pass rusher, but those guys that like to rush the passer, they get really frustrated and discouraged when the team's game plan against them with quick passes, screens, they're running the ball. They can't get the game that they want, so they slow down a little bit.
Oh, Jeff, I used to get off of football, get engaged. I was so disappointed if it was a pass. I'm like, it could still be a run, right? Is it a run? Could be a run. He's dropping back. He looks like he's going to throw, but he could run it. Could be a run. Oh, he threw it. Damn. Better.
Yeah, jump set Mike DeVito. That was the game plan. Oh. Jump set. Slow the run, even if it's a pass.
It's definitely a run.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, but the NFL action is in full swing here at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. And that's right, we're talking touchdowns, we're talking big plays, and even bigger payout wins. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. Listen, if that's not enough, DraftKings got you covered. Everyone can boost their winnings with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Right now, for every leg that you add, you can boost your winnings up to 100%. That's right. I paused a little bit because I had to make sure that was true. Right now, for every leg that you add, you can boost your winnings up to 100%. With bigger payouts than ever, why would you bet on football anywhere else? To make things even sweeter, you can throw down on stepped-up same-game parlays once per game day, all season long. That's right. All season long. Here's what you got to do. You got to go to DraftKings Sportsbook and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Now, use promo code KCSN to get $200 in free bets if your team wins when you place a $5 bet on any football game. That's code KCSN only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. You can see the show notes for more details. Now, let's get back to the show.
Oh man, you know what? Big play. Well, I forget the quote, but one thing that I talk about our guys is making key plays in key situations.
Yeah.
And obviously the interception touchdown return, that was the key. But that sack that Chris Jones had, I thought that was in such a great situation. It was so fluid. I mean, I just was watching that on replay and then watching it again on Twitter. People will share it on Twitter. And it's just, you could just tell. And, as a defensive, not a pass rushing defensive line, but I know the idea. You're setting your guys up, and this, Jeff, as a rusher, you're setting your guys up all game for different moves, right? So you're doing a bull rush, you're working an outside move, you're doing whatever you can because you have one move in mind, and you're thinking, I'm going to set this guy up with 4 or 5 different rushes, and then hopefully get him to do this, and then I'll hit something totally different that I've been thinking about the whole time, and make this play. And so it's a chess match, but to see Chris hit that double hand, that swipe, and the timing was perfect. And I don't know the rushes leading up to that, but it looked like it was just, his checkmate of a game of playing chess. And he just perfect right through there.
It is. I mean, you have to prepare so much for Chris. One, he can do everything.
He can do everything.
But the strength of his game and what gives guys the most fear offensive line wise is his power.
Yeah,
because this guy is a tough guy to hold up against all game just with power alone. So you're constantly bracing for that, and you got to meet force for force. So sometimes you're like, I got to get after this guy, I got to jump him and slow him down. And as the game goes on, you kind of wear down, and he's like, I know I got him. Now I'm going to Olay him. I'm going to hit him with a finesse type of move. I'm going to double hand swipe him. I'm going to hit him with a quick inside move, something that isn't power because he's off kilter.
Right.
And it's successful. And I think he's going to have 15-plus sacks this year.
Well, and you know what's so great about Chris, and we've said this before, is I don't know how tall. What is he? 6'8"? I mean, he's
a big dude, man.
He's big, 6'6", 6'7", something like that.
Yeah.
But he plays really low, and so you can, and he's obviously he's a monster. But when you have that height and you can play that low, those are, and that's hard to do. But some of the best players that I've seen, defensive linemen I've seen, are the ones that are the 6'6", 6'7", but can stay low to the ground because all that leverage on that bull rush. And I remember when he first got in the league, Chris first got in the league, and he was going against the guard for the Colts, who's just a manhandler. What's his name?
Quentin Nelson.
Yeah. And Chris bull rushed him back. Now, if you can bull rush him, you can bull rush anybody. I mean, so you're right, bracing for that power. But you can only, if he hits one swipe, one move, it's over. So I don't know. I'm loving that. I love watching.
No, man, it's not. He doesn't get the praise that he deserves sometimes, just from a generational type of talent.
Yeah.
Because there's big guys in the league, but there aren't big guys with the attributes that he has.
Right.
Along the lines of Hall of Famers. You talk about Richard Seymour's, guys that are that mold, that size, could move like that. They're Reggie White's. Now, I'm not saying that he's better than these guys, but he's on the trajectory and path to have the same impact. So keep it up, Chris. Stay healthy. Keep balling.
Remember last year?
Sack Nation, baby. Sack Nation.
Remember last year? That's really good. You said that was good. That was a good impression. You remember last year? They had him out at a wide 5. I remember. I can't remember the game, but he had gotten off the football like D4, just boom, hit it with a chop. I mean, it was like, how in the world is this man getting off the football so fast? So you're right. He has all kinds of different talents. Okay. Again, KCSN, go check out our other shows. They've recapped that game. There's some really great stuff on there. I wanted to move. Where am I at in my notes? I'm sorry here, brother. Okay, the Willie Gay situation. So let's go from something great to something difficult. Willie Gay situation. Don't know all the details. Looks like, I don't know, he broke something at his ex-girl's house.
Supposedly, just the little details that I do have is that it was misdemeanor property damage, which and result of him breaking a small appliance, which is a vacuum. That's tough. Obviously, you should never do something like that, but I mean, it happened. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about
the inconsistencies.
The inconsistencies in the league's punishments. It makes absolutely no sense to give a guy 4 games for something like that in comparison to some of the things that go on around the league, and it doesn't match the length of punishment doesn't match the crime.
Let me ask you, and not that this would ever happen, but I'm just curious, if Patrick Mahomes does that, does he get 4 games?
I don't think so, because the inconsistency. I think they take many things into consideration, and everyone gets treated differently.
Yeah,
and that's not a good standard in my opinion. I think the rules should be the rules. The punishment should be the punishment.
Right.
And there should be guidelines for every single. Obviously, you can't hit everything, and you're not going to know every circumstance. But there should be umbrellas. Okay, if you're in this area and you did something along these lines, this is green, this is red, this is yellow.
Right.
And this is the number of games you get for this type of offense.
Right.
It's just all over the place.
It's not a subjective. It doesn't seem like a really subjective.
It doesn't seem like a formula. It's just okay.
Well, they make it very subjective. It's random.
It's very random. It's okay, let's pull this out the hat, and this is what we're gonna do. 4 games. 6 games. This isn't the same situation as this, but it could be the exact same situation. I'm sure you can find something along the lines over the course of whenever Goodell's been in office, something similar to Willie Gay's situation. That's a totally different suspension.
Right. Yeah. Right.
It's there's no consistency.
Or don't do it again. You're messing with guys. I mean, is this again? We don't know the whole situation. Assuming it is what it is, what we do know.
I'll give you a direct, and this is crazy because Willie Gay's suspension came out this week, and then after the Monday night game with the Titans, a Titans player was swinging at a Bills player, and missed the player and hit the coach. I think it was a Bills player that missed. Whatever, one of the players. end up hitting an opposing coach after swinging on an opposing player. And that player only got a 1-game suspension.
Really? Before for Willie Gay.
And 4 for Willie Gay. I think that's way worse than breaking a vacuum. But like I said, we don't know all the details. So
yeah. Well, no, the details that we do know, it does look inconsistent. It does look like there is objectivity to be built into this process. Like you said, just like you would in a court of law or something like that. Like, here's how these, here's how we're going to play through this stuff. If you are in this bracket, if something falls within here, misdemeanor, this is a game suspension. If 30 massage therapists said you were, trying to sexually assault them, that's over here. You know what I mean? But it's just like, there's no rhyme or reason to what they're doing. And, we keep coming up on CBA after CBA and all these negotiations, and everybody's saying, well, we're going to get this process handled and taken care of. And it just seems like it doesn't get done. So,
and I mean, remember when we went from, it used to be the leagues let the commissioner be the judge, jury, and executioner. Right. And then it went to, we're going to go to the third party. Then we went to the third party, and then goes to the third party, don't like what the third party does, and then it goes back to the commissioner. I'm what the hell? Why is the third party there then? If you're gonna put them in place to make a punishment and make the decision, and then you don't like the decision, then it reverts back to you. That none of it makes sense.
You went in a circle. You didn't go anywhere.
You didn't go anywhere. So it's like, let's just figure this thing out. Obviously, things happen just like any other profession. There's people that do things that they shouldn't do.
Right.
But let's just make sure you give guys, punishments that align with the crime, and then that is consistent. Because 9 times out of 10, a circumstance or situation that's similar is going to happen, and we don't want to compare it and say why they get this and they got that. It doesn't line up.
If we go back to the X's and O's now, obviously without Willie Gay for 4 games, that's difficult. As a defensive lineman, you take my primary guy out from behind me, and it gets difficult.
That's tough. We're playing some good teams too, and quarterbacks that we're going to miss him. He's our best pass coverage linebacker.
Right. And so that's huge. The pass coverage linebacker is huge, but even in the run game, you've built a relationship. The D line and linebackers have built a relationship. You know where guys fit. I know where DJ's going to be, right? I know if I'm here, DJ's going to be there. Well, DJ going to be running past the line of scrimmage, making a tackle in the backfield anyway. But, you build these relationships. Now you got a new guy in there. You got the young guy coming in. He's, and he, this is the big stage. So you got to imagine there's a little bit of a learning curve for him. Obviously he's been in there. I think he played 32 reps or something so far, but like now he's the guy. So there's a bit of a learning curve. Hopefully you see Spags and those guys. I know those guys will get him ready to go. And he has to lean on the veterans around him. You have a lot of guys out there that have been there, done that. And so you got to lean on those guys and go out there and have fun. But are you worried at all about, you brought up the passing, the pass coverage, that's a big deal. You worried about that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. Anytime you lose one of your, best players, a starter, you're going to have to fill that gap. So there's concern there, but these guys are collectively going to come together. The coach is going to do a good job of getting these guys up to speed, and they'll figure it out. But it's going to be tough to deal with.
Watching Willie Gay, he was mic'd up during training camp, and he's like a funny guy too.
Yeah.
So I think about the talents, but like
he has some juice.
Yeah.
He has fun. He's dancing on the sideline.
Yeah. Oh, and now you love to see a guy like that.
He brings energy to the defense, not just from his playmaking ability, but just by his spirit. And sometimes that's tough to replace, even more so than the production on the field, because it gets guys hyped and going. Like, it's great. We talk about Eric Berry all the time. As great of a talent as he was, one of the best safeties to play, in my opinion, one of the greatest of the Chiefs safeties, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What made him even greater was his leadership, his ability to make you want to run through a wall. Like, he made me a better player just by his words.
I wish people could see it, because
I can't explain it. So it's like, just, you can't replace that.
You can talk about it, and we've talked about it, but I wish people could have seen EB and what he did in that locker room, how he got guys ready, how he got the team fired up. That was special. 18 years around football, and some of the greatest leaders I've ever been around, but I have never experienced.
Listen, man, I'm trying to do that in the cookie environment. I'm like,
yeah, man.
Let's go.
You guys are. I don't know if you see me, but I'm staring at these 2 cookies, trying like hell not to eat them while we talk, because it's I got the peach cobbler and the raspberry one. Oh man, it's a fight. We better hurry up, because I'm gonna start eating and everybody's gonna tune out anyway. Let's move on now. Before we get to Indy, let's talk about Buffalo. We talked about
let's definitely talk about those guys.
They look legit, and if this is now what, 3 years in a row now that they've put together, look like they put together a solid unit, which is so funny because again, playing for the Jets in the early, in the mid 2007 to 2012, 2013, Buffalo was always like, it was kind of just like, you were never scared of Buffalo. You know what I mean? But now, man, they've really put together a squad. So what'd you see from that game, Big Jeff? Because they look legit.
They look like a team to be reckoned with. They're definitely a powerhouse. And this is something, like you said, it's been building for some years.
Yeah.
I mean, year after year, they've gotten better. And it looks like they've gotten even better. They have the same team, and they've added guys like Von Miller. Obviously, with that offense and Josh Allen, they're going to be playing with some leads, which is going to help their defense get after the quarterback. They're going to be a pass rush, majority of the game. And they got a good secondary, so they can create a lot of turnovers. They do a lot of things, and you got to give them credit. I honestly think they look like the best team in the NFL right now. And that's tough to say because we're pretty fucking good too.
Right.
We're pretty good too. And I guess the argument would be they haven't really played anyone. And you talk about the Rams, you talk about the Titans. Although the Rams, were the reigning Super Bowl champions, they don't look very good to start the season. Even with their win against Atlanta, they didn't look great. Right. And then you talk about Tennessee, they don't look great either, even though they're number 1 seed in the NFC. But regardless of strength of schedule, what you think about the opposing teams, they've done nothing but dominate.
Yeah.
And they've shown it, and you can't pick who you play. I mean, the league does that. And they're going out there, they're dominating. And when you turn on that tape, it looks like a team that's flying around, having fun, and they're on a mission.
Yeah.
They look like they're on a fucking mission, and it's going to be a crash course, in my opinion, with the Chiefs. Obviously, I'm going to go with my boys because we have the greatest quarterback in the world and one of the greatest coaches, and it's just going to be fun to watch. Obviously, we got to all get there, but I think this is the cream of the crop, these two organizations.
I'm looking at the schedule now. Do we get Gabe back for that? I don't think we do. I think
no, we don't. And that's going to be a tough ask for a young guy to be dealing with Josh Allen coming downhill, or they run a lot of those quick crossing patterns where Willie Gay would be in the middle. Got a lot of talent out the backfield with the running backs, so tight ends, all that stuff. So
we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I did want to bring that up, and you brought this point up because it's a good comparison for the team we have this week, because Indy hasn't looked good at all. But when you look at their roster, you look at the guys they have on that team, they could easily explode.
Yeah.
Right. If they all of a sudden went out and put up 40, you wouldn't be surprised. Now you got Matt Ryan at quarterback. You got new guys in new spots. You can see they're still trying to click. They're still trying to figure it out. It hasn't looked good so far, but we bring that up because this is not a team you can overlook. This is a team that has a lot of talent, a lot of ability. And again, Matt Ryan at quarterback, they can get stuff done. So Big Jeff, what are you looking for this week going into this one?
I'm just looking to get a win, man.
Yeah.
And I think to build on what we did last week, defense played excellent. I think it kind of gets lost in the fact that Herbert had some big numbers passing, but the defense really held up, and they did a really good job. He's gonna do that. Yeah, exactly. So defensively, I think we can continue this progression we've had during the season. Arizona, awesome. Chargers, awesome. And I think we continue to get better from there. Offensively, I think we just need to clean up some things. Make those big plays when we have the opportunity. Run the ball and do it efficiently like we did last week, and win the game. I think the Colts, like you said, they have all the pieces to be a good team. They just haven't put it together yet. Right. So not getting trapped. And that's tough. See a team that's 0-1-1. I mean, they got a tie against the Texans week 1 and not playing very good football right now. You can kind of I don't know. I don't want to say not prepared because these guys are professionals, but mentally you may not
Check
be
out.
as mentally
it's just human nature. I mean,
mentally you may not take them as seriously as you would a Buffalo when you're getting ready for them.
You're just coming off the Cardinals and the Chargers.
And
so
the Chargers.
this would be an easy week to say.
In your mind, you're like, oh, this is a win, and sometimes that can become a trap. So obviously, these guys need to stay focused and be ready to go, and it shouldn't be an issue. But this is the National Football League, and guys have pride. Everyone's getting paid, and it's your job to win. So that's what gets lost in all this. Even the bad teams have competitors on it, and guys that want to win. So any given Sunday is a real statement. Like it is any given Sunday, and you can get beat by anyone.
Right, and you got Chris Ballard at GM. He obviously knows Kansas City inside and out, having built most of that team, and so they'll know KC. They'll know what they're coming into. And so, this is just one of those games. But going back to Andy Reid, his philosophy, the way he's handled things, he will never let a team, this would be on the guys, because he would never let a team. They're going to go out and practice like this is the Super Bowl, just like they do every single week. And so we know they'll be ready for him. But just to highlight that, Indy has a lot of good players, and so we got to make sure we're not overlooking that.
Jonathan Taylor will get the ball 40+ times.
Yeah.
He had he had under 10 rushing yards last week, so they're going to have a point to prove. That O-line is tremendous. They're tremendous. They have a lot of good players. Obviously, they didn't have a good game last week, but they have pride. So
they're going to be mad as hell.
They're going to be mad as hell. And I know coming off a bad week personally and as a team, there's nothing more you want to do is go out and have a good performance and then come out. You're going to not only get the best shot because of who you are as the Chiefs, you're going to get the best shot because I'm coming off an embarrassing loss.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So it's going to be a fight. So don't expect it to be a blowout, but we should get this win. It shouldn't be one of those.
Yeah.
But they're going to get it. They're going to come out ready to go. I'll just say that.
We're at Indy. So let's go get this win, Chiefs Kingdom. Come back here next week for another edition of One-on-One. Thank you for tuning in. Big Jeff, love you, brother. Great to see you again. And everybody, again, we'll catch you next week. Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.